What is printing money in 2026? Let's talk about 2026. What's actually printing money? Is it drop shipping, e-com, AI? I'm traveling. I'm at a hotel and I was like, I want to go live. I got 4 phones: TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. So what's printing money in 2026? At the end of the day, I was reading a book by a dude who built like 4 companies to $1 billion net worth. He said, or enterprise value, he said, essentially, it's better to catch trends than try to work hard. Of course you gotta work hard, but the point is, he's like, dude, you can work hard all day. You pick the wrong trend, you're just gonna be grinding it out. So let's talk about what actually prints money in 2026. I'll tell you, I'm gonna divide this audience into 3, because I got all kinds of people who follow me. I'm gonna divide this into 3 groups. You're either low net worth, mid net worth, high net worth, and we could say ultra high net worth. So depending on who you are, I got 3 different ideas. I could add a 4th category, which is ultra high net worth. So let me give you, if you're mid net worth, 100K to $1 million net worth, now it's time to productize, build a product. If you're low net worth, 0 to 100K, services only. Fuck that, services only. Again, 0 to 100,000, services only. That could be sales services, marketing service. If you're 100K to $1 million net worth, it's time to roll out and own a product. If you're high net worth, 1 million to 10 million net worth, now it's time only scaling systems, installing AI systems, scale what you got. Once you're 10 million plus, 10 million to 100 million, I call that ultra high net worth. Now it's time to acquire. You grow. I got one of my private clients, I won't fully say his name because he's not done with his exit. I helped him buy his competitors, and he's 30 years old. He was doing $3 million a year. His net worth was around $3 million. Now he's got a $20 million offer. He bought up all his competitors, and then somebody's gonna buy the whole thing from him for $20 million cash. So in 18 months, I took him from a net worth of $3 million to, if he closes the deal, it's not closed, so we won't count our chickens before they're hatched. That's 20 million. So that's the way to think. You got services, products, scalable systems, acquisitions. That's buy your way up. So what's the best thing in 2026? Let me start with ultra high net worth. If you're ultra high net worth, 10 million plus, what's the things to buy? Well, you have 2 schools of thought. One is to buy boring businesses. By the way, I'm doing a webinar on if you're ultra high net worth, just type in tylopez.com/Thursday. I'm doing one webinar live free for ultra high net worth people on Thursday. So tylopez.com/Thursday, or just comment if you're on, some of you are on Twitter and stuff. If you're on Insta or Facebook, just comment on this live stream money. I got a survey, like a quiz on Instagram and Facebook, just comment money, and it'll take you to the webinar, which one you should come on, the one I'm doing Thursday or Wednesday. All right, so back to what I was talking about. If you're ultra high net worth, you got 2 schools of thoughts. One is that you should buy boring businesses. Okay, great. You buy plumbing, you buy a couple plumbing businesses, electrical businesses, HVAC, car washes, med spas. Although med spas not as boring, but you buy like businesses that 90-year-old guys own. You buy it from them for no money down, you scale them, you roll them up. Okay, that's fine. You can make money that way. And then you can buy what I basically call, sexy businesses. People make money in both. Second richest man on earth, a third is Louis Vuitton guy. That dude bought Louis Vuitton, he buys Moet champagne businesses. You can make money on both. So if you're kind of a boring person, buy boring fucking businesses. Go for it. If you're kind of a boring dude, you stay at home. I don't mean boring in a negative way. You know what I mean. It's kind of boring. If you just like to sit at home, you're introverted, buy boring businesses. If you're super extroverted and you're crazy kind of dude, buy crazy businesses. You can buy nightclubs right now. A lot of nightclubs are going out of business. Add email marketing to them. I got a guy in Tennessee in my private client program. I think he's worth 20, 30 million from buying up nightclubs, flipping them. You gotta flip them quick. Don't hold on to a nightclub for a long time. Flip that thing. Boop, boop. Anyway, so 2 schools of thought. Boring, sexy. There's no right answer. Let me tell you the problem in the world. Everybody's out here giving fucking advice like everything's written in stone. things ain't written in stone. Any rule you tell me, like, oh, you only make money in boring businesses, I'll show you Bernard Arnault only buying sexy businesses and making 100 bill. If you try to say only sexy businesses make money, some people go, you can't make money in restaurants. My second richest mentor, Tillman Fertitta, made 11 billion net worth primarily from restaurants. So there's no rules, man. Everybody out here just making up fucking life. Just remember that. Life's all made up. No adult knows what they're talking about. You think adults know what they're talking about? What adults? The founder of OnlyFans died today. He built out a company that would pay him $1 million a day profit dividend. He paid himself $1.8 billion, then he died. Nobody knows anything. A lot of you, insecurity comes from thinking everybody else is smart. Once you realize nobody knows anything, there's a few people who have a little bit better knowledge, but even then, it could be luck. Is Elon Musk the best business guy in the world? Or was there a set of circumstances that probably contributed? For sure. Is there an alternative universe where the guys you think are smart would fail and the people you think now are dumb win? Yeah, of course. There's probably a multiverse. Most astrophysicists, about 50% of them believe that. Okay, so if you're ultra high net worth, buy stuff. Buy assets, don't build from scratch. You can buy a multifamily boutique boutique hotels are interesting right now. I almost bought one in Miami a few years ago. Okay, now let's switch over. So that's if you're high net worth, 10 mil plus, 10 to 100 mil. There's a level above that, 100 mil plus, that I call pre-billionaire stage. And then you have the billionaire. Okay, if you're at a 1 to 10 million high net worth, you're not ultra, you're not mid, you're high. Then it's all about installing scalable systems so you're not the weak link in the business. Can you take a month off from the business and you keep making money? If not, you better be installing AI and hiring people to kick into your business. That one's easy. Now, the trends that making money at the $1 to $10 million level is literally the same shit, which is, can you run Facebook ads at a ninja level? Do you know bid cap, cost cap? Are you doing day parting? If you all know what day parting is, turning your ads on and off at certain times of the day. Like, it's the ninja level. Are your funnels on a 1 to 10? Is the copywriting immaculate? Is it so persuasive that if I watch this, if I click on your website, I'm like, I have to buy? Like, could you sell me a menstruation app even though I'm a man? If you want to know you're a good marketer, you got men buying your menstruation app. You're like, dude, this is so good. I got to buy this. It's not even for me. Do you see what I'm saying? That's the level of, you want to go, if you're 1 to 10 million, how good are you at marketing? Okay? Somebody said, Ty, you're not relating to me because I'm not a millionaire. Just wait. Learn patience. And you should be listening to the shit that's more advanced than you are right now. Okay? If you have no muscles, you gotta fucking hang out with dudes that already have muscles. You don't go, well, I'm kind of fat, so I want to go to a gym where everyone's fat. That's what Planet Fitness does, and it's stupid. If you're fat, you want to go to a gym where you're the fattest dude. Positive peer pressure will shame you into getting into shape. Okay, so what's the best trends? Where's the money at right now? If you're mid net worth, your net worth's 100K to $1 million right now. Okay, we're working our way down, so don't let your panties get in a bunch right now. Okay, if I haven't got to you yet, just chill. So, if your net worth is 100K to $1 million, the next, where's the money in 2026? Easy. That one is you gotta launch your first product. So that could be a drop shipping product. I was talking to a dude who does, I was on the phone. I have a client in my $1 million program that paid me $1 million to help them for marketing 2 years. They're doing supplements. They're doing 100 mil plus with 8 figures profit. They don't manufacture in their own house. They found a manufacturer. You can sell a whey protein, a new angle. You can sell a new kind of toothbrush. You got to productize something. That's called productizing. Too bad they don't teach us in school. Roland says, Ty, how you stay looking young, bro? I don't know. I spent $1 million trying to figure out anti-aging in 2015 to 2020, so maybe it's working a little bit. Okay, so what do you productize? Whatever you have a lot of curiosity in. Okay, the money follows curiosity. No curiosity, I could literally give you the best business idea. If you're not interested in it, you ain't gonna make money. Just like I said, I'm not gonna build a menstruation app because I don't have any interest in it. I have no curiosity. Now, if I was a woman, and let's say I had had a tough time in life because I always had cramps once a month, I'd be like, damn, I'm gonna build an app to solve my problem. One simple thing to do is take your mess in life and turn it into your message. What's your mess in life? My mess was I didn't have a dad. My dad went to prison when I was a baby. So I didn't have that mentor that a lot of dudes have. You know, I was watching a video, was it Tom Brown or whatever? Tom Brady, the football guy, was saying like his dad changed his life. His dad was his hero. I was watching Russell Westbrook, the basketball player, saying like, my dad, man, he encouraged me. He worked hard. He was up late night at my basketball games. I didn't have that. So I turned my mess into my message, which is you can find mentors instead of having a father. A father is better, but if you don't have a father, I found Joel Salatin when I was 19 years old. The first guy who taught me how to do business. I found Alan Nation. I found all these people. Eventually I had billionaire mentors. So I turned my mess into my message because I have a lot of curiosity around it. It affected me. I have a friend, James Swanick, my first client in 2013 in my private client program where I help guys who are already successful scale. Although he had just started making money and he paid me $25,000 in 2013. Now he's got a business. He used to drink a lot because he's Australian. Those dudes drink a lot. And he built a company called No Alcohol Challenge. He's making $1 million a month. More, but let's just say $1 million a month. Does that make sense? So you have to be thinking, where's my curiosity? When you're at that 100K to $1 million, you got a little bit of options. Now, let's go to if you're broke. I've been broke before. So if you're that 0 to 100,000 net worth, I call that low net worth. Now, beggars can't be choosers. You just gotta hustle. Beggars can't be choosers. I meet people that are like, oh, I'm not gonna do that. I'm like, bro, you're broke. If you find out you can make 100K a year, you know, on high ticket phone sales, I don't care if your energy is there. Make your energy show up so that you're not homeless. So everybody in the comments, I'm live in 4 places. I'm looking around here. Who is in the ultra high net worth, 10 million plus net worth? Just put in the word ultra. Who's ultra? By the way, I'm doing a webinar, tylopez.com/Wednesday for lower net worth, tylopez.com/Thursday if you're high net worth. So who's ultra? Okay, who's high net worth? 1 to 10 million. Put in the word high. Okay? 1 million to 10 million. Put in the word high. Who's mid net worth? 100K to $1 million. I'm not really pre-qualifying prospects. This isn't some sales technique. This is a live stream. I'm just interested in the ratios. Now I got a lot of mid. John says mid. Michael says there's a couple people saying ultra. I can already predict where this market will be. 10% of people are high or ultra high net worth. Then you got a big swath. You maybe have 20% of the world's high net worth, and then everybody else is mid or low. You know, it's kind of like the 80-20 rule or the 70-30 rule. Who's low net worth? 0 to 100K. Who's that? Okay. TikTok is the funniest place to go live. TikTok, these motherfuckers are in Lululand. I don't even know. I think most of TikTok is like 4-year-olds, but it's funny to read some of the ones. Somebody goes, I won't even say what some of the things people say is funny. Okay, so we got low. Let me tell you a universal thing for everybody, and this is crazy important. I gotta go, and I'm picking somebody up from the airport, so I gotta leave in a few minutes, but I just want to pop on here. I got my whole setup. I'm traveling, so I'm in hotels. I got my double lights I travel with. Got my 5 phones on tripods. So I can hit all of, I can just go live once and be all over the place. By the way, go comment on my Instagram or Facebook the word money. I built a badass quiz. You answer, it's free. You answer 4 questions. I'll tell you what exactly, based on your net worth and your curiosity, what you should be doing to make money in 2026. So if you're on Insta or Facebook, just comment on the live money. If you're somewhere else, go over on any of my Instagram posts and just comment the word money, and it'll send you this quiz. Okay, here's the universal thing that I really wanted for everybody to hear, and I tell this to my ultra high net worth guys. I got a guy in my ultra high net worth private client program. He's got 285 million liquid between cash and crypto, real money. This is what I told him. I said, listen, man, here's the death of you. Remember what Charlie Munger says, if you want to get rich, figure out what you would do to be poor and then invert it, and don't do it. You want to figure out how to, don't try to figure out how to be in shape. Figure out what fucking makes you fat and lazy, and then invert it, and you'll win. So here's what will make you poor, and then you invert it, and you can get rich. Generalized advice. Let me repeat this. If you want to be a poor motherfucker forever, get a whole bunch of generalized advice. Listen to 19 podcasts on money. Listen to 22 YouTube channels and Instagrams. Just let me give you the analogy. Let's say I go to a doctor and I have a broken finger. Let's just make something up, okay? I don't really, but let's just pretend. I walk in there. Let's say this doctor, most of his clients have a cold. So he has a whole bunch of cold medicine here. I walk in there and I'm like, hey man, I started my business personal brand. I got 10 million followers across all the platforms now. I started in 2009. So this is 17 years I've watched these trends. Back in 2009, you couldn't get generalized business advice online. There was hardly anybody online. So back then, any advice was good because, you know, only a few people were putting it out. Right now, people are out here, let's say you got $1 million. You're following some dude who has some business. It has no relevance. A lot of you are operating on advice for your taxes, for your career. You're listening to your parents' advice. You're listening to your buddy who's an introvert and you're an extrovert. What the fuck? That has no relevance. Like I said, I have a friend who made, I don't know, $50 million. Yeah, something's going out on my Instagram. It's this hotel's Wi-Fi. I know a dude who's got $50 million in a business I don't care. I'd rather be poor than be in his business. Okay? So I don't listen to his advice. Now you might say, well, you can learn the general principles. That shit doesn't work at high levels. General advice doesn't work at high levels. Think about being a UFC fighter. Okay? So someone says, okay, here's some generalized advice. When you're at the bottom, by the way, those of you who are broke, generalized advice is no problem. When I was basically almost homeless in a mobile home, any advice helped me. Some dude goes, hey Todd, you need to have a good daily routine. Oh, okay, well fuck, I was at $47 in my bank account at one point, I remember seeing. So literally any advice was good. But the second my net worth was 1 million or 10 million or beyond, that was stupid advice. I'll give you an example. People say you have to wake up early to be rich. Billionaires be laughing at that shit. You think billionaires wake up early? Jeff Bezos publishes his daily routine. He's like, I like to wake up at 8 and lay in bed till 9 or 10. So you're listening to advice of dudes who have a 1 million net worth. They don't understand causation and correlation. Carl Icahn, one of the Titan billionaires of buying businesses, bought all these businesses in the 80s, 90s. One of my mentors was his lawyer for 10 years. He goes, this motherfucker woke up at 1 p.m. in New York City. He said we'd all be there at 9 in the morning waiting for him to wake up. So there's generalized advice that down me. All people all over, oh, you be a billionaire, you gotta wake up early. When you're broke, you do. When you're broke, you need to wake up early. But billionaires, like Jeff Bezos, is like, I'm better when I just creatively think on shit. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, stop it. Those of you who got a net worth that's higher, you better be getting customized advice. You want generalized advice on your tax return? You want generalized advice on your legal structure? A lot of you have an LLC because some fucking YouTube video was like, LLCs will give you limited liability. What's happening? Don't have nothing to do with you. I was talking to one of my private clients who wants to sell his business. He's doing $34 million. It's a fashion brand. He should have been a C Corp because C Corps right now have an exemption when you sell the business. You can get at least 10 million of the sale free, and it's based on your cost basis, but you could get a $50 million exit theoretically for 0 taxes, but you have to have been a C Corp for 5 years. So he's out here watching some Instagram dude who's only had money for 3 years. Oh, LLCs are great. Understood. Oh, Delaware or South Dakota. What does that mean? If you're broke, that's good advice. Because if you have no money, an LLC is better than having things in your personal name. But if you're making money, you're a numbnut. I mean, you're going to destroy yourself. Someone said Ty is high on something. I don't do drugs, man, but I appreciate that. It means I have high energy. So stop. My number one thing I want you to take away from this call is I'm watching too many podcasts. I'm listening to too many business gurus. Do a simple rule. I call it the 20-year rule. I don't listen to anybody who hasn't been making money for 20 years. You can, though. You can. I'm glad. I want all my competition dumb. Charlie Munger says, if you want to win at basketball, play with midgets. So all of you who are like, well, I like this guy I've been watching. Ask them how long they've been making money. Tillman Fertitta is a mentor of mine. I think he started making money in the 80s. Steve Ballmer, as a guy, got mentorship. He's the 9th richest man on earth. I think he started at Microsoft with Bill Gates in like 1982. These guys are coming up on 40, 50 years. So stop it. There's an old saying. The young doctor fattens the graveyard. You go in for heart surgery and you're like, how long have you been doing this? 1 year. Get the fuck off that operating table. Get off that operating table. Someone said, just get rich, bro, and then 10x that shit. That's my buddy who does that video. So that's the main thing I wanted to tell you. Every time I go live, I want to have one main piece of advice. That's why, for those on Insta and Facebook, comment money, and I'll send you a customized quiz. It's not as good as in person. Okay, so this is a key thing that the world needs to hear. This is a key thing, especially if you're worth $1 million plus. Man, I don't even follow podcasts. Why do I need podcasts? I mean, I have a podcast, so maybe it's hypocritical, but not really. Not really, because I try to pick very specific conversations. I'm, for example, the only guy out there teaching you that genetics matter. Everybody else teaching about money doesn't factor in genetics. Genetics is such a big deal. So I actually give customized advice. For example, when you take my quiz, it really matters whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. Wealth is created differently for extroverts and introverts. You can see that. Extroverts are often leaders. Like I said, the richest guy that's ever mentored or given me advice is Steve Ballmer. He's worth $150 billion, okay? He was an extrovert, hardcore extrovert, and he was the CEO of Microsoft, $3 trillion company now. And the introverts, like Bill Gates, was behind the scenes doing the coding. So they make wealth in different ways. So that's the first thing. When I think about where the money is in 2026, my first question is, where's your net worth now? My second question is, what's your genetics? Introverted, extroverted. You can use Carl Jung's system. You can use all kinds. You can use Jungian psychology. Then we would go, are you an N or an S? Are you an intuitive or a perceiving sensor? There's all, there's E or I, extrovert, introvert. N or S, intuitive or sensing. F or T, feeler or thinker. P, perceiver, or J, judger. That's one system you can use. I have a system on 12 types. I built a quiz based on hormones. People have dominant hormones. For example, a high dopamine human like Elon Musk likes to run many businesses at one time. A high serotonin person like Jeff Bezos just focuses basically nonstop on Amazon since 1994. If you're a high oxytocin person, that means you bond with humans. That would be somebody like Steve Ballmer. He liked to talk to people and lead a big sales team. And then if you're a high cortisol person, that means you always are like pessimistic, stressed. Those kind of people run media empires. They want to be journalists and all that thing. And then the final one, the fifth wild card in your hormones is, are you a higher testosterone person? I don't mean your current blood levels. You can see on my hand, this is called digit index ratio. People don't know this is one of the most scientifically established physical facts. The U.S. Army started studying this over 100 years ago, and there's about 80 scientific studies on this. So this is the amount of in utero testosterone that was released. So while your mom was pregnant with you, she released a certain amount of testosterone, androgens. This is your testosterone figure, this is estrogen. I have pretty high testosterone. I'm more of a risk taker. You have to know where you are and you can't really change it. Even taking testosterone, taking Anavar and you know, all of these steroids, it doesn't change. It somewhat can change your core personality, but it's somewhat artificial. If you stop injecting it, you go back, you kind of regress. So you have to know, are you a hardcore risk taker? Then you should be a trader. George Soros, Druckenmiller, guys like that. If you're a lower risk taker, you should be like Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is a guy who buys cash flowing businesses at good multiples. He doesn't use debt much. He uses a little bit of debt. He does equity. So this is all genetics. You have to understand your genetics. Unfortunately, the school system talks zero about this. Kids go through from age 6 to 18 and even university. Nobody reads the science. This is like established Harvard science. It's called psychometrics. It's the science. One of my mentors, Dr. David Buss, has a PhD from Harvard in psychometrics, and he's the founder of the evolutionary psychology department. So you must go deep into your own genetic strengths and weaknesses. If you're tall, the best way to get rich is play pro basketball. 30% of people over 7 foot tall play pro basketball. It's a great way to create wealth. You have a moat around around your wealth creation. So when I started this live stream and I said, what's printing money in 2026? I just wanted to factor in, know thyself. That was on the Oracle of Delphi. It was the first piece of self-help advice in a cave in Greece over 2,000 years ago. Know thyself. So it's very important to go deep into that, because money is flowing in every direction. There's people, I'm in a nice hotel. Nice hotels are making money, but Tillman Fertitta owns the Golden Nugget. He's making money in casinos, restaurants, hotels. Other people lose their shirt in it. He has built around his strengths. Peter Drucker, the most respected kind of business professor of all time, said most people think they know what they are good at. Most people are wrong. Even then, more people think that, you have to know what your strengths are. So he wrote a book called Managing Oneself. Let me step back and give you the whole quote. He said, most people think they know what they are good at. Most people are wrong. Even more people think they know what they are weak at. But even then, more people are wrong than right. But you can only build off strength. So the whole point is, when you think about where money is printing, my water company, a guy built, Liquid Death. It's actually near my farm where he built that. He bought a farm that had water pouring out of the ground, and it's worth $1 billion. It's a commodity. It's water. He just did good marketing, but he has a big interest. He has a big interest in marketing. So he followed it. He's probably a high dopamine guy, and dopamine people like marketing because you're constantly making new campaigns. There's a guy in Stockholm, Sweden who started, I think it's called Legato. It's a law app. He started it 3 years ago. It's worth $5.5 billion. He's in his 20s and he's worth about $600 million now. He's more of an introverted nerd kind of guy. It's not a sexy business. Replacing lawyers is a boring law. He's got agentic AI that's building out a replacement for law firms. It's actually an internal research tool for law firms, so they don't have to hire so many paralegals and junior lawyers. He's probably going to be worth $1 billion in 4 years. He followed his genetics. He's a nerdy introvert. He can lock himself in a room and work with AI agents till he builds a legal company that's worth already $5,000 million. That's what $5 billion is. So know thyself. That's where the money is. And that's where the school system and parents do such a disservice. It should be a fucking crime that parents are out here telling them, you should become a dentist. Why? I mean, the 1950s to the year 2010 were a bad year for, people think the 50s was a great time. No, people just got trapped in stupid stuff because our mom and it was actually better in the 1850s when everybody was on a farm. At least they were close to nature. You know, I mean, you know why anxiety is through the roof? Because it's your unconscious mind telling you you're in the wrong profession. Okay, that's just the game. So, oh, sorry, TikTok. I never pay attention to you all. I'm on Instagram. I need 50K to start my profession. Here in my garage. You can make 500,000 on TikTok shop. Sure. But I can bet if I took everybody, I'm streaming in 4 places. If I had everybody in one room, I have everybody write down what is your genetic match and what's your curiosity. Those 2 things. And then we meet again in 5 years. And everybody who kind of went down the path that mastered genetics and their curiosity, I put them in one side of the room, and everybody who just chased money, I put in the other. This side's gonna destroy the mercenary side. Mercenaries don't get that rich. Steve Jobs said this. He gave a commencement speech at Harvard before he died. He said, man, and it's just like cliche, boring advice, but it's good advice. He's like, you gotta follow your curiosity. Don't follow the money. Follow the curiosity. Money chases curiosity. Everybody else just chases money. I was looking at what was this funny app that made so much money? I couldn't even believe it. I'll remember in a second. There's things I wish somebody had sat me down when I started out and just smacked me and said, Ty, you don't have curiosity there. You're a mercenary. You're like, yo, I read that a dude made $1 billion here, so let me run after that. That has no applicability unless you're homeless. If you're homeless, chase any way to make money. If you got a friend who owns a restaurant, you're a vegan and he owns a steakhouse, go work there because you're broke. But the second you have money, at least 100K to $1 million net worth, don't work at a steakhouse if you are a vegan. Don't work in sales if you're an introvert. Switch over to marketing. When you're broke, do anything to make money. Pick up trash, dude. I'm like, who cares? Okay, I'm gonna go. I gotta go pick up somebody at the airport. So I'll be live on Wednesday and Thursday. If you're lower mid net worth, come on tylopez.com/Wednesday. I'm doing a live webinar. I'm gonna go deep on some real specific stuff. This was just me going live, but if you're high net worth or ultra high net worth, just go to tylopez.com/Thursday once I'm off this. If you're on Insta or Facebook, just literally type the word money in this live chat and I'll DM you a quiz. And at the end of the quiz, it'll tell you which of my webinars you should come on. I don't charge any money for them. Okay. Let me just tell my mom's visiting me, so I need to tell her that I'm coming in 5 minutes. Okay. We're downstairs. All right, let's do a AMA, Ask Me Anything. I'm just going to do a rapid fire. It could be on any subject. Ty, have you read the book of Proverbs? Danny says, yes. It says, seek after knowledge, by the way. Picking up mom from airport. No, my mom's here. Me and my mom are going to pick up. One of my brothers is getting married. I have 6 brothers. Okay. Thoughts on insurance lead generation. That's how I started, dude. 2001, I figured out the internet to generate leads. That's great business. You can chart, dude. Lead gen, if you know how to generate leads. I was on the phone with a 19-year-old in Toronto. He generates leads for like plumbers and roofers. You're making $30,000 to $50,000 profit in his pocket, and I'm helping him scale to, $500,000 a month. He just dude, plumbers don't know how to generate leads. Just sell the leads. Chris Doe says, what's your hair care routine? People ask, I'm gonna launch a hair care product this year. I get asked about my hair so much. I'm gonna lay out, now some of it's just genetics to have hair, but there are things I do to take care of my hair. I don't have the best hair on earth, but for my age, I got pretty good hair. Ty, why are you always helping people? I don't always help people, but I'm helping people now. You got to live your life by the 50-50 rule. 50% selfishly, you got to take care of yourself and your family, and 50% for the good of others. It's a good ratio. Never trust a dude who says, oh, I'm only lived in life to help other people. Bullshit. That dude is a fucking, don't, beware of, people find out about me, I'm more of a sheep in wolf's clothing. One of my private clients goes, Ty, you're the most misunderstood person on earth. He knows me well. I mentor him in person. He's like, dude, people have you wrong. He's like, he made 50 million in crypto. He's been following me since 2015. I was just with him in New York. He goes, you're the most misunderstood person on this planet. So I just don't virtue signal. A lot of people follow people who virtue signal. This guy says he's a good. Beware the dude who acts as Sigmund Freud. Beware of the person who tells you they're a saint. There's something underneath the surface. Always. Okay, is modeling a business on AI? Yeah, modeling, you're going to have to do in-person modeling because soon everything will be AI models. A lot of the model industry will disappear. How do you sell $3,000 to $5,000 osmosis water filtration? Are you in network marketing or something? Build your personal brand. Pedro says, best hair in the business. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna wait, I got a hair care product coming out. Okay, sorry, let me look here. I've been neglecting Twitter. How to locate the appropriate circle to build a possible billion-dollar empire. Build things in progressive steps. You don't know it. First, just keep my buddy Grant Cardone. He's got a good framework, 10x. So if your net worth is 10 grand, 10x it. Try to figure out how to get to 100. That's your first sprint. 100, go to a mil. Mil, go to 10 mil. 10 million, try to see if you can go to 100. And that's about it. You don't really, 10 to 100 million is not enough. Don't listen to all the podcasts. I saw a podcast where two 25-year-olds were like, 100 million is not a lot of money. I'm like, why do these people have a podcast? No, actually, I like free speech. I'm like, why are people listening to this? I'm like, I ain't getting no advice from a 25-year-old on how to make $1 billion. What? You know, in the NBA, all the coaches that coach LeBron James and basketball players, they're all former players who are now 60 years old. That's who you listen to. Of course, young people can give good advice, but not as a coach. Phil Jackson coached Michael Jordan, and he had already won a championship when he was like 30 years before, as you know. How to win in MLM this 2026, all about views. You need 1 to 10 million views a month, and then you'll have a big network marketing company. Somebody wrote, that was straight blasphemous. Take the expertise. No, this is a signal to noise ratio. You never know. You have to interpret data. So how do you know? You got to think of your life. There's a great book I'm reading right now. I'll show you in my iBooks. It's by it's called Thinking in Bets. It's by a woman who's a professional poker player named Annie Duke. And all of life is just a bet. So what, you want me to bet on a 21-year-old's advice, implementing, or a dude who's been rich for 40 years? There is a possibility the 21-year-old knows, but it's like betting on a pair of twos. You know, if you play poker, you always fold a pair of twos, or almost always. And you almost always bet on pocket aces. So you could still lose though with pocket aces. You could still lose with pocket aces. And you could theoretically win with a pair of twos, but you don't, that's not how you live life. Ray said, Ty, I've gotten 1.1 million views on my IG, but what no one called. You're probably getting the wrong kind of views. You have to take, if you're selling an MLM product, but then you're like dancing on TikTok, that doesn't always translate into money. Can you start out by manifesting? Manifesting is real, but it's not the only thing. Manifesting is like a step in creating what you want. For sure, I believe in manifesting, but I don't believe in manifesting alone. It's not logical. Pocket deuces never lose. If someone has low creativity, what's the primary problem? Not everyone's meant to be a creative person. As I said, Steve Ballmer is called an intrapreneur. He made $140 billion for himself without really having creative ideas. The creativity, it's a genetic thing. Some people are creative and some people are practical. Both of them can be successful. You got to know if you're not that great at creative things, then you're an executor. You execute on other creative people's ideas. It's called an intrapreneur versus an entrepreneur. Not everybody can be an entrepreneur, obviously. Not everybody can run a business and be the founder of a business. You got to have people inside the business. That's called frequency dependent selection in evolutionary, or ESS, evolutionary stable systems. The babies are not all born extrovert leaders. You can't have all leaders. So nature is smart. God is smart. Frequency dependent. If there's too many extroverts, introverts will start being born. You see that with male and female. You'll never get, there's no country on earth where the birth rate is 60-40, male-female. Biology don't work like that. Any advice for an architect who wants to build $1 million firm? You better build a personal brand and become a thought leader in your industry, or now AI marketing will eat you up, faceless AI. By the way, for some of you who are introverts, you should be building AI faceless pages. It's insane right now. You can build like a Chinese monk page and be an affiliate and sell herbs and just print money. I'll talk about that on mine. For those who are on Insta or Facebook, comment the word money. I got a money quiz, and at the end, I'll tell you which of my webinars this week you should go on. All right, it's time for me to go. I gotta go to the damn airport. Let me check the flight here and see what time they actually arrive. No, I'm gonna go. It's good to pick people up from the airport. If you really care about somebody, if you want to know if somebody really loves you, then they meet you at the airport. If you want to know if you're a side chick or whatever, or if you're a dude, if you want to know if the girl really likes you or just a gold digger, is she at the airport? If you're Ubering yourself, if you're Ubering yourself on an international trip, you may not be loved. You may not be loved. I'm sorry to break it to you. So this is somebody, this is family. So I keep family, important above. Blood is thicker than water, they say. Or as the Godfather said, something like, a man who doesn't take care of his family isn't a man at all. So this is family. I gotta go pick them up. I'll pop on live maybe tomorrow. I've been trying to do a daily live show for like 15 years. And I got enough money that I don't have to do this. So I'm like, every time I'm like, oh, I like talking to people. I'm an extrovert. And then, so we'll see if I'm on here tomorrow. I need to manifest it. How do I do a daily? How do I actually do it? I'm a high dopamine guy, so I get bored sometimes. But anyway, I'm gonna shut off TikTok first, and then I'm gonna shut off Twitter first, and then I'm gonna shut off